let's talk about zoom lenses. Now, I haven't gone over this in other videos, but there is an issue with Canon zoom lenses. This is the non-stabilized Canon 18-55, really cheap throwaway kit lens. It comes with like the XTI and a bunch of other cameras. Anyway, the video image quality of this lens is good as what you'd get out of an L series. It's not a great lens for taking photos, and it's not a great lens if you want to use it in the future for, you know, better cameras or an upgraded camera that takes higher resolution video. But that's not the biggest problem with it. The biggest problem with it is this artifact when you zoom with the lens. Now, if you take a look, and you'll see this change in the lens. You see this little ring pop up and pop away depending on the speed that you zoom the lens, and it always pops out underneath below 24 millimeter, 18 to 24 millimeter. Now, what this causes on the screen is it causes an artifact where the screen flashes in brightness. It's not necessarily an f-stop change, but it flashes in brightness. It's not like an older lens where it's brighter wide open and it's darker more closed down, where it'll just slowly get darker. It's an actual pop in the brightness, and it's really, really annoying. I'll put a link on the side of the screen so you can watch a video that has some of that where I tried to control it with this lens, but it's nasty. Now, this isn't the only lens that does this. I've also played with, and it could be an older version of the lens, but the 1740 has the same issue with brightness changing while you're zooming the lens. And to me, that makes it pretty much, well, I mean, you can shoot with it if you know how to control it, but it's not something ideal that you'd want for a zoom lens, and it's definitely not something you'd want to spend a whole lot of money on, especially an L series that does the same thing. This is an ancient Albenar 80 to 200 millimeter zoom lens. It's f3.9 all the way through, and it's actually on a Pentax mount, and I have a Pentax adapter that doesn't work that great. But the point is that the image that I get with this in video mode is equivalent to what I would get with a higher quality lens. So for just using this in video mode, it works decently. It's not the fastest zoom lens. It's not, it's easy to focus, and it works fairly well. It doesn't have the droop for the zoom droop, so you don't have to worry about tilting up and down and having the focal length change. And it's typically available on eBay for $20 to $30. Something like this works well for video mode. It's not something you want to take stills with. Well, you can. They're just not that sharp. Additionally, the diffusion, well, since this isn't the sharpest lens, that diffusion that's caused by maybe not the greatest optics actually help to lessen the moire and other false detail that you get on the 7D image. So I still stick with my same zoom recommendations that I had before. If you want to spend more money on other zooms that have image stabilization, go ahead and do that. It'll definitely help. Also, lenses like this that you can get off eBay and adapt to a Canon lens, I would definitely recommend trying it, especially if they're cheap. You can't really go wrong, and you know, it might give you a different look that helps. And even older lenses will help diffuse some of that aliasing that the 7D has, 7D or 5D. When you're picking out a zoom lens, even if it's a really cheap one, try to get one that has constant aperture all the way throughout the lens. The reason for that is that if you get one that's like a 3.5 to 5.6, as you zoom in, it's going to get darker. Even if it doesn't have the problem that some of the Canon lenses do where they pop when you zoom them, it'll still be a detriment when you're trying to film with the lens fully wide open and you go to zoom in and the image gets darker. You definitely don't want that.